A lot of people contacted me last week. Apparently, you had sent out a tweet. By the way, I'm glad that you're up on tweeting, which, by the way, I have a Twitter account as well at Sean Hannity. But you have your own Twitter account. And you offered to basically broker a meeting.
No.
Well,
I didn't. No, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. That was a misinterpretation by the Huffington Post.
Okay.
What I said was...
I did read the tweet. Go ahead.
Right, but what I said was local Tea Party groups, because the Tea Parties don't have a hierarchy, they don't have a national organization. Local Tea Party groups ought to reach out to local NAACP chapters and offer to have joint town hall meetings. For example, about job creation. I mean, there's a clear difference between job creators and job killers. It'd be great to get Americans of all backgrounds in the same room talking about whether we ought to follow policies that you and I believe in, which create jobs. And I suspect most African Americans at the local level, in the local NAACP chapter, will be surprised at how much they have in common with Tea Party members, a number of whom, by the way, are African American, Latino, and Asian. The Tea Parties are not white organizations. They're open to all Americans. So my point was, if somebody wants to start a conversation, instead of yelling at them, what if we invite them in the room? And let's have a conversation about America's future together. I'm told by Adam Waldeck at American Solutions, who coordinates this, that a number of local Tea Party groups are reaching out to local NAACP chapters on their own to have this kind of a dialogue.
Well, I don't know what the right answer is, but I would find it very hard to sit down with the NAACP. Back in 2000, they ran this James Byrd ad when George Bush supported the death penalty for the people responsible for that James Byrd dragging death. That you can't have a worse penalty. And that ad was particularly hard-hitting. It was as if my father was killed all over again, if you remember that ad. And then in this particular case, this happened with this woman at this NAACP banquet. I'm not saying not to have a dialogue. I am saying, and you could also talk about their associations. Ben Jealous was at a meeting with Louis Farrakhan. Should we not have certain standards prior to any meeting?
No, but we can also say, let's agree that we should condemn racism wherever it occurs. Now, we hope that the NAACP will apply that standard to somebody who's at one of its banquets. But I think it's good for the country to see that we're not afraid to reach out and talk to people and to try to focus the conversation in a positive way. African American unemployment is higher under the Obama administration than under any administration in a very long time. African Americans want their schools to work so their children go to college and not to prison. We have lots of things you and I could talk about in local meetings, and I said local meetings, where local people get together. And I think you'd find that at the local level, not the professional, left-wing activist level, at the local level, there are an awful lot of very decent people in the NAACP who would suddenly find out they had an awful lot in common with their local Tea Party neighbors.